We'll do now some exercises about Newton's second law or Newton laws in general. So we'll start. An object S of mass m equal 20 kilogram moves on a straight horizontal path, okay? And we have under the action of a constant applied force F, which is parallel on the motion. The friction force is assumed to be constant. So our sheet, what we do is we put the given that we have. So we have here that the mass is equal to 20 kilogram. We have a force, it's under a force F. Okay, so here is the mass, this is the force F. The friction is assumed to be constant, so we have also friction. And since we don't have a figure, so we'll trace a figure. And we have three phases. So the first phase, the object is moving between the 0 and the 10 second, and the object starts from rest. So when we say start at rest or from rest, this means that the initial speed is equal to 0. So هيدي بتعني إنه V0 is equal to 0. And under the action of force F equal 50 Newton. So first of all, we'll trace the figure. So we have an object that's moving on a horizontal track, and from 0 into 10 seconds, so this is the 10-second here, we can name it, for example, the point A and B. The object is moving from the point A to the point B, and this is the object S. It starts from here with initial speed equal to 0. So under the force F equal 15 Newton, so we'll put the given here, we have the mass is equal to 20 kilogram. We have the friction is equal to 10 Newton, while the traction force is equals to 50 Newton. The first question is determine the type of motion or the nature of motion. In order to know the nature of motion, we have to find the acceleration. ومن خلال الاكسلريشن بقدر أعرف إذا هو uniform motion, uniform accelerated أو uniform decelerated. So in this case هلا منطقيا نحن بنقدر نعرف إنه أكيد مش decelerated. ليه؟ لأنه بلش بسبيد 0. So إجباري يعني السبيد بقى تعلى. So يعني logically it cannot be decelerated. Now, how do we do to find the type of motion? So we will apply Newton's second law in order to find the acceleration. In order to apply this law, we'll do the steps. So the first step, we'll name the system or the object that we are studying. So the object that we are studying is S, and we put the axis. بما إنه it's moving like this, so رح نحط the x-axis of motion along the motion, and then we trace the forces. So بالنسبة للforces, what do we have? أكيد we have the weight, which is vertical downward. We have the normal, واللي هو ليه حطينا النورمال؟ بما إنه عندي surface support، يعني أكيد عندي normal. And we have the force, the traction force. So this is big F. And we have the friction, which is opposite to the motion على طول. So this is small f. بعد ما رسمنا الforces رح نكمل steps. So we'll say according to Newton's second law, we have the sum of the external forces equal m multiplied by a. Now, our step one, we put all the forces in terms of vectors. So it will be a sum. Then it will be n plus w plus the force plus the friction equal to ma. Notice إنه نحن نحط sum. ما خصنا بالdirection here, we're just adding the vectors. Now, in this next step, رح ناخد بعين الاعتبار the direction. So we'll do now a projection حسب الموشن. So when motion وين هو along the x-axis. Now the normal with respect to the x-axis is perpendicular. This means its effect is equal to 0. The weight, the same thing. بينما the force of traction is parallel with the x-axis in same direction. So it will be positive F. The friction is parallel but opposite direction. So it will be negative F equal ma. Now we have everything. So we can simply do the calculation. So it's 50 minus 10 is equals to 20a. Then in this case, we can find, so it's 40 equal 20a. This means that a is equals to 2 meters per second square. هلا بمجرد ما طلعنا الاcceleration and we notice it's a constant, does not depend on the time and positive, so we can know that the motion is uniform accelerated motion. هلا هون شو بنعمل؟ we put the form, we put the equation, the time equation of motion قبل ما نكمل الأسئلة. So what do we have equations? We know that the acceleration is constant, that the speed is equal to at plus v0, and that the position is equal to half at squared plus v0t plus x0. The last equation, which is independent of time, so 2ax minus x0 knowing that this part is the displacement. Now, question number 2. Determine the distance traveled in this phase. In order to find the distance traveled, now we have to look here at the equations. We know that the distance traveled is x minus x0. So we notice that x minus x0 can be found in this equation and in this equation here. بس بما انه نحن معنا time انه اخذت وقت 10 second لتقطع كل هالمسافة, so I can use the first one, this one. So now we'll write the equation here. So part 1, 2. I write the equation here. So x minus x0 equal half a t squared plus v0t. And since it's starting from rest, then this means v0 is equal to 0. So هيدي راحت. Now we can continue the calculation. We have everything. So it's equal to half. The acceleration is 2. The time is 10. And we have square, so we'll get 100 meter. So this will be the distance traveled AB. يعني قطع من ال A لل B مسافة 100 meter. The last question is deduce the speed V1 at t equal 10 second. كمان لأجي طلع speed بجي بطلع where do I have the speed? We have here and we have here. بس كمان بما أنه عنا time, we can use the time equation. So I write it here, right here. This is 1.3. So V equal AT plus V0. The initial speed, as we said, is equal to 0, and we have the acceleration is 2, the time is 10, so we'll get 20 meter per second. معناتها هيدا الأوبجكت لما مشي لو وصل على 10 second, okay, هون صارت سرعته, its speed is equal to V1 equal 10 meter per second. هلا هيدا بدنا ننتبه, this is the first phase. لما انتهت first phase رح تبلش الفيز الثانية, so رح أعرف إنه رح تبلش ب initial speed equal 10 meter per second. Now we'll continue. The second phase between 10 and 40 seconds. يعني هلا إذا ما نرسم الفيجر, the object is still moving and قطع من ال A وصل عند ال B, وصل عند ال B ب V1 equal 10 meter per second وكمل. So this is its motion. Okay, but we have to pay attention, and this is here, it's 10 seconds, while it reached, for example, the point C, let's suppose point C here, at 40 seconds, يعني أخذ هيدا الوقت. Now, قد إيه أخذ وقت؟ بنتبه إنه 40 minus 10 يعني أخذ 30 seconds from B to C, okay? So this is the duration. Now, S moves with a constant speed of V1. أول شيء ننتبه إنه it's with a constant speed. Okay, so when I say with a constant speed, this means that V1 is equals to V, which is equal to 10 meter per second, equal to constant. بمجرد ما أعرف إنه it's equal to constant, directly I can know that the motion is, since V is equal to constant, then this means that the motion is a uniform motion. When I say uniform motion, then this means there's no acceleration. The acceleration is equal to 0. Now we start by reading your question. Determine the value of the applied force F. In order to find, so forces ما قالش شيء يتغير بالforces. Okay, الفريكشن, النورمال, والويت. بس اللي تغير إنه أكيد أنا بمجرد ما عم بيمشي بسرعة constant, يعني الفورس اللي عم بيعملها, the traction force, بتغير. So this is the object. We have the weight. We still have the force, but it has a different value now. We have the normal, and we have the friction. Now هيدي I can name it إذا بدنا F prime بما إنه الفاليو اللي تغيرت, أو I just remember that now the value here has changed. So the question once again is to find the value now of the force. كمان لنطلع force, we have to apply Newton's second law. So part 2.1, the object studied is S, and we already put the forces and the axes. So according to Newton's second law, I can say that the summation of the external forces equals to MA. Now, هون we have to notice that I can do not Newton's second law. هون بقدر اشتغل Newton's first law. Okay, يعني I can say according to Newton's first law. Why? لأنه I noticed that the speed is constant. If the speed is constant, then this means that the acceleration is equal to 0. So this is why I can use Newton's first law. In all cases, this one will be applied. This one will be true. So what do we have as forces here? We have the friction, we have the normal, the weight, and the traction force is equal to M multiplied by A. This is the Newton's second law. So we'll do the projection along the motion. And this means along X. The friction is opposite, parallel opposite. The normal is perpendicular, so its effect is 0. the weight is perpendicular, its effect also is 0, while the force F is parallel and same direction. Now here we have to pay attention that there's a uniform motion, so the acceleration will be equal to 0. The question as end is to find big F, so we can say that F equal. هلا إذا بدنا نميزها عن اللي قبل رح نسميها مثلا F prime، بس لننتبه إنه it's not 50 anymore. Okay, so it's equals to the friction, and the friction is constant, which is equal to 10 Newton. So عرفنا هلا إنه هيدي الفورس F صارت تساوي 10 نيوتن ليضل الأوبجكت ماشي in a uniform motion. كمان another time, since I knew that the motion is uniform, so I can write the equations. A equal to 0, V is equal to constant, and this constant, we already know it, it's 10 meters per second. And we have X equal Vt plus X0. Now, part 2, the question is determine the distance traveled. So distance traveled in this phase is moving from B to C. So عم يمشي هيدي المسافة. هلا لما بحكي عن distance traveled, this means D, it's equal to X minus X0. I notice here إنه إذا جبتها هيدي لهون, I'll get V multiplied by T. Okay, the speed is constant. I know it's equal to 10. Now, بالنسبة للتايم بدنا ننتبه. The time I cannot take the 40 second. I cannot neither take the 10 second. هون التين مقصد فيها the duration of this phase. So قد ايه أخذت وقت لتمشي من ال B لعند ال C؟ أخذت وقت as duration 40 minus 10, which is equal to 30 seconds. So now I can know that the distance traveled is equal to 300 meter. So this is the distance. هون the distance هي D2 إذا بدي أقول يعني هي المسافة من ال B لعند ال C. Now, the last one, the third phase. In order to stop, so here I have to pay attention. When I say stop, this means I need the speed, the final speed equals 0 meters per second. There's no speed. F is removed. So كلمة F is removed and I have no more traction force. So هلا, if you want to trace the figure, this was A, B, كمل عند C, عند C كانت صار 40 seconds the time. Now بده يوصل عند D and it will stop here. In order to stop, this means V is equal to 0. So the question is, study the motion of the objects. This means determine the nature of motion. هلا نحن منطقيا عرفنا انه السبيد هون كانت 10 meter per second وصارت 0 يعني قلت يعني it's a decelerated motion. But I need more. I have to study. So I need to do here كمان another time. Okay, Newton's second law. So شو عندي forces now? We also have the weight, the normal, but we still have only the friction. Traction force is removed. So another time, رح نرجع نيجي نحط هون. The object is also S. We already traced the force. We put the x-axis of motion. And then now in this case, what do we have? We have the normal, the weight, and the friction is equals to أكيد according to Newton's second law. So it's equal to MA, which means that the summation of external forces equal MA. وحطينا الforces. Now, we also do the projection along the X بما أنه my aim is the motion, so it's the acceleration. Normal is perpendicular, so it's effect 0. The same thing for the weight. The friction is opposite, so equal to M multiplied by A, which means that A is equal to negative F over M. It means negative 10 over 20, so equal negative 0.5 meter per second square. And I notice that the acceleration here is a constant, but negative. So I can deduce as a uniform decelerated motion. So the same thing here, we'll put the equations. So what we have as equation, we have A is equal to constant, نعرف إنه هي negative 0.5, V equal AT plus V0. Now we have to pay attention, مين هي هيدي V0? AT square plus V0T plus X0. And the part 3-2, the question is, determine the instant t. The instant t, which is the final instant where the object stops. So بطلع time. هلا نحن ما نطلع instant. So first step, I need to use the time equation. If I look here, I have this time equation, I have this time equation. ما بعد distance traveled. So I use the equation of the speed. So I say V equal A T plus V0. Okay, let's see. Here V is V final, and I know it stops. So this means this is equal to 0. ال A بعرفها, it's negative 0.5. and then I put here the time plus what? V0. Now V0 هون بدنا ننتبه إنه it's the initial of the phase, initial speed of this phase. يعني لما بلشت هيدي الفيز سي دي بلشت من وين؟ بلشت من point C. So speed قد إيه كانت 10. So here I put 10. هيدي الانيشال تبعت هيدي الفيز، مش الانيشال يعني اللي بالأول اللي بلش فيه. Then I can say that T equal to 10 over 0.5, which is equals to, in this case, we'll get. So هون بدنا ننتبه لكن لشغلة إنه هيدا التايم اللي نحن عم نطلعه it's the duration مثل ما قلنا قبل شوي. So we'll get here it's equals to 20 seconds. هيدي أكيد ما في إجي أقول له إنه الانستنت is 20، ما هي وصل لانستنت 40، أكيد الوقت ما بيرجع لجوا. So هيدي التي هي مقصد فيها the duration، يعني من السي لعند الدي أخذت وقت 20 second. طب إذا من السي للدي أخذت 20 second وبلشت ب 40، يعني قد كان الانستنت، then I'll say that the instant at D is the 40 plus the duration which is the 20, so it's equal to 60 seconds. وهيك بنكون طلعنا the duration, sorry, the instant. Now part 3 reduce the distance traveled in this phase. طب بدي أعرف قد إيه قطع مسافة من السي لعند الدي. So this is 0.33. لطلع distance traveled, I can use or this equation هي x minus x0 here, or I can use also اللي هي independent of time. يعني في إجي أقول استعمل هيدي equation. 2a x minus x0 both بيزبطوا معي لأنه we have all the given. Now here we have to pay attention إنه هيدا ال v is v final مثل ما قلنا, which is equal to 0. It stops. This is initial, which is the 10 square. The acceleration we already get it is negative 0.5. And here we have to find the distance traveled اللي هي هيدا. So we'll get here negative 100 equals to negative 1d, and then this means that the distance traveled is 100 meter. ولما أجي أكيد هيطلع عندي distance traveled negative. So إذا بنرجع بنفكر فيها يعني مش من ال A لل B مش 100 متر. Then من ال B لل C I think طلع معنا 300 meter. And from C to D طلع عنا 100 meter. This means as whole, the whole track was equal to 500 meter.